slumber too. Their presence fills the air with tune. Yet in the chaos, light may spark, even in the depths of the deepest dark. Creatures lurking in the dark unseen, silent whispers piercing in between. Some will haunt and some will guide, on land, in air, and oceans
Hey everybody, how's it going today? Welcome to another episode of the Bizarre and the Unknown. I'm your host, D.D. Testman, and in the dark we have Miss Jessica, the Cryptid Huntress Jones herself. How's it going today, Jessica?
Hey, it's good. I'm trying to figure out why you can't see me. Let's see.
I don't
Hold
know.
on 1 second.
Wonderful.
We're gonna figure this out.
No worries. Nein, Stopa. Stopa. It's just Jessica. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Can you see me?
Okay, we got you on that one. Yeah. We got you on that one. So, man, I asked you to come on because this is, I've talked about this subject several times on your podcast, Williams, Minds, DA's, and other podcasts. When I'm out doing investigations, I'm feeling the energy of the air. Everything puts off an energy, good, bad, the ugly. It puts it off, and in an essence, your kind of field does a lot with energy as well. So I thought it'd be great to have you on so we could talk about this stuff. I mean, because energies have a lot to do with a lot of stuff. So, oh, now your other one started working. So, oh, did I lose you? Hold on. That's working. That's working. Let me. I wonder. Okay, so I got to have that one up for sound and the other one up for picture. Okay. So, no worries.
Oh my gosh. Is this working?
Yeah, I had to put your other one up. Hold on. Jessica's coming home to get some clothes and chargers and stuff, so the dogs are going nuts. Hey, Effer. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Maureen. So, with this being dealing with energies, I have to shut that door thing and stop. Give me a second, guys. I apologize. Sorry about that. They won't quit. So I just had to shut the door. There we go.
It's all good. Can you hear me, Eric?
Yeah, I can hear you on that one.
Okay.
Love you, baby.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. That's weird. My video feed's kind of wonky.
Yeah. No worries. Hey, Robin. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Sorry, my daughter came in and was trying to tell me something. Um, it's all right. We'll get her. We'll get her done figured out. We'll make her work good. So,
It should. You know what?
with these
It should. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say it should. It should
go ahead.
get better. Hopefully, this is wild. My son was on his PS5. This PS5 is really screwing with my internet. Is what it is. And so he's not on it, but he was on it right before the show. So we're gonna have to deal with that. Something's wrong. The internet sucks.
Mine's been acting like crazy weird for a couple days, and like I'm trying to download the part 2 of the Springfield Commercial Club paranormal investigation I did, and it's
Oh yeah.
taking forever.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
hey, Freaky, I don't like doing that when I'm on the live because it messes with my side of it too. So I'm like, God, I hope it doesn't mess with it too bad. But yeah, I was kind of happy because I've been trying to find that file for a while because something happened to my computer and I lost my file to the part 2 part. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to spend several hours going back through all this evidence, documenting it, exposed, showing everything on it from the beginning again. Then I finally found it. I was like, oh, thank God. So then I started working with it. Then it would shut down. I'd have to upload it and it shut down, upload it, shut down. And finally got it to stay. So she's finally up and going and downloading now. But yeah, I noticed the whole computer doesn't have the mic. I was trying to figure it may not be on my end. That's why I don't have the mic. But yeah, so energies. With your field, I'm not real familiar with. So, but if it's anything like what I kind of do, there's energy involved. You're tapping into a type of energy, and all things, good, bad, ugly. Like I said, people pass energy. So I was kind of curious on your end. Uh, is that kind of like how your remote viewing? Not like your thing, but I'm trying to remember the thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't. Man, this internet is all messed up today. Yeah, I just actually got finished with I just did another podcast a while ago, and a gentleman, a friend of mine, had given me a coordinate remote viewing target, blind one, and it was well, the show has not aired yet, so I don't want to give too much away, but it was pretty wild, and it goes all the way back to the very beginning of time. And I mean like the beginning of time on Earth basically. And it was wild. And it's all just tapping into energies, basically, I guess, through space and time. And so that's kind of that's what I did earlier today. And it was pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, the whole entire world is just basically the whole universe is made up of energy, frequency, and vibration. And according to Nikola Tesla, just kidding. That's just the truth. And
It is.
yeah, it's
Stars, planets, moons, they all, I mean, us, everything, rocks, trees, grass, everything has energy to it. And it's
mhm.
just, sometimes you can, yeah, I know, yeah, I know, Freaky. I was just thinking, I was like, I think I've been a good boy. uh, but yeah, it's, so when I'm out in the field doing whatever it is, cryptid, supernatural, paranormal, I do what I call the initial investigation. And that's where I go in and I get a feel for the area. I'm testing it out. Basically, the energies, the aura, whatever it is people want to call it, it's energy. Uh, I'm trying to tell: is this thing good? Is this thing bad? Or is this thing evil? And that kind of tells me what I'm walking into. Even though there is instances where supernatural can hide their level of energy and make them seem to be not near as bad until boom, it is. And I don't know if that's something you run into as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of actually the training that I did with the remote viewing is, it's all about energy, like you said, and it's really recognizing energy and how the energy changes everywhere we go, with every person, with every room that we walk into. Yeah, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm trying to. There, that looks better. Now I ain't like in everybody's face.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why my audio is like oppositely, separate from my video. But anyways, that's at least you got. Hey, you got it. You got it working, so that's good.
Yeah.
Wish I could say the same about my video feed right now. I don't know what's up with that, but so yeah, so we used to have to do like practices. Like we would do these little tests where we would have to, you'd walk through a doorway, walk through a room, and see how the energy shifts. Okay, so like any kind of just slight energy shifts. Okay, how you can feel that. Okay, when somebody walks in the room, I mean, have you ever been in the room and like somebody walked in and they just sucked the life out of the room, like sucked the oxygen out of the room? And noticing stuff like that, because I mean, I do most of my life now is based off energetics. Okay, not like, I know that sounds kind of weird, but if something doesn't feel right, I don't do it. Okay, and if something does feel right, or if I feel like I'm pulled to it energetically, I do it. Okay, and it's the same with like people and friends and things like that. Like if I don't feel like there's if I don't yeah, if I don't feel like there's golly, I'm so sorry. I'm so distracted by how bad my video feed is right now.
It's all good. I had this. I felt bad the other day because I had Da and Robbie on when we were talking about sharks, and all of a sudden the storm rolled in like really quick and shut me down. I was,
Oh no. Oh, that happens. It happens. Can't always help it. But yeah, I'm
yeah,
just frozen. I'm trying to just stay still. But anyways, yeah, we've actually even done tests like where we would partner up with somebody and we would take like dowsing rods. If you know what y'all know what dowsing rods are, Eric. I know
yeah,
you do. And
right.
and we would project thoughts onto each other. And like, let's just say I was supposed to be mad at my partner, right? Think bad thoughts about them, or they. And so he would take his dowsing rods and he would walk towards me, and you could see like the lines of energy. It was like the frequency of like this vibrational energy that was coming off of me when I was thinking something negative, as opposed to when I had good thoughts. And so yeah, it was just different. You could see how the energy comes at you differently. And like when you have golly, like I had a hard time like having negative thoughts over my buddy, because like I'm friend, it's hard to be mean to somebody you like, you know what I mean? And so I had to like shift my thoughts into somebody I didn't like. And but
Yeah,
anyways, that it's just interesting to watch the energy shift from a negative feelings versus positive feelings towards someone. And that's really us. We're like tuning forks, energetically. Humans are like tuning forks, some of us. And it's really all of us, really. But you really do energetically attract what you are and how you feel. And so you have to, that's why I tell everybody, like, be really mindful about how you talk to yourself. Okay, how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself, and stuff, because you attract what you are and how you feel and what your mindset is. You're going to magnetize the same kind of people that are on that energy level. So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
and I've talked about this a few times. Like when we were hunting drug cartels and pirates, and somebody's not going to tell you the truth, but they can tell you the truth through talking, without them actually saying the truth. And a lot of times it's tapping into that energy. It's like, okay, what's your energy feel like? And you ask certain questions and how they answer. Not only are you looking for a physical response, but you're listening to a verbal response and you're feeling their energy around them. And you can always tell when somebody's projecting, hey, this, hey, he's not right about this, or he's hiding something. And that's what we've, one of the things we used in the military to do was their aura. We called it aura, but it's energy. It's all energy. Aura, um, energy. What is the other words I'm thinking of? Your presence, your vibe. I mean, however it is you want to put it. Uh, hey, Don, it's always putting out there. And if you can learn how to tap into that, you can find out a lot of stuff. And so I used to play a little thing when I was trying to get with a girl, and I could pretty much tap into her energy and tell most of her life story. And they'd be like, "Oh, how do you know that?" I wasn't always accurate, but I was, within the 60 percentile, 60, 70 percentile accuracy most of the time. And there's like, how you do that? Well, because I tapped into your energy. And you can always tell when they have a wall up, like they're trying to block something. And you got to project a little bit more energy to knock that wall down. And that's how it is for me. I don't know on your side, but that's kind of what I've dealt with when dealing with that.
Oh yeah. No, I shut my energy down sometimes because I know people are trying to pry into my life and stuff, and especially being public and talking about stuff like remote viewing publicly. There's some weirdos out there, man, that want to try to pry into to see how you do things and stuff. And so I gotta be kind of careful. So I put up a lot of energetic boundaries, not only around myself, but around my home, around my kid, around my dog, around everything, my property, you name it. There's energetic boundaries. You don't cross those boundaries or you're gonna get hurt. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah.
It's a thing.
You can put up like an energy, how do I put it? Like kind of like an energy minefield. You cross a certain thing, you can have a negative reaction come back at you. I've never learned how to do that, but I've heard people talking about that, and I've seen some studies on it. Don't know for sure how true that is, but I do remember seeing something on that. And but most of the time when I'm running into somebody when I was looking for them, yeah, force shield. Thanks, Don. That's a good one. Force shield. Yes. Usually they have. Well, it's like a wall. I mean, when I go in, it's like looking at a brick wall, and you got to project some more energy, knock that brick down, and you just keep battering it. A lot of times, if you use the right keywords, that's helpful, but sometimes that don't work, and you got to project yourself more energetically to knock that wall down. But and it's that way with paranormal and other stuff too, because they try to hide their stuff. Now, and I've always told this to people. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z guy. I love Dragon Ball. That's like one of my favorites of animations is Dragon Ball, Goku and Vegeta and all them. Well, they always talk about hiding their key, and there is a way. I'm not good at it, but there is a way that you can hide your key from somebody else, and that's something you got to look for too. But there's always a small trace because they're living. And I don't know if you ran into that or not, but
So wait, so you have to hide your key. What does that mean?
your energy. So
your energy. Your chi. Did you say chi?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I thought you
yeah.
said key, and I was like, what is a key? Like a portal?
Oh, so no,
I
no,
get it.
no.
I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, chi.
I misheard you. That's what it was.
Oh, I
Yeah.
probably said it
Oh
wrong
yeah.
on me.
No, you didn't. You said it right. I just heard key. That's all. But
Oh,
but yeah. Yeah, we have to protect our energy. Listen, our energy is our most uh it's the most important form of currency actually. It's really the most important thing that we own is our energy. And so it's important that we be mindful of our energy, of how we use it and who we give it to. And like I said, wherever our energy, our attention goes, energy flows. And we don't. There are people, and I'm going to say not just people, but entities, especially entities inside of people, who their main objective is to drain all the energy out of people. and they don't know it. I mean, us humans, I mean, we've all been guilty of it, being energy vampires, and we've all been guilty at some point. But once we start realizing it, and you go somewhere like a family function, an event, wherever you're around people, or if you just have somebody over at your house, if you feel like you need to sage your house after somebody leaves, maybe you shouldn't have that person over at your house. Do you know what I mean? Because people don't know it, but they will drain you dry of all of your energy. And like, even as a phone call, be careful about taking phone calls from people that drain you. Okay. Don't do that, because that's a real thing too. It's just energy vampirism. Somebody calls you because they're wanting to, what I call trauma dump. Okay. Trauma dumping is not okay, y'all. Okay. If somebody's calling me and they trauma dump, I gotta go. I gotta go. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. Because I don't do that to people. And if I do start complaining, I will catch it really quickly, and I'll apologize, and I'll stop. I try not to complain. There's nothing wrong with like venting occasionally. Okay. But just don't, that really drains people's energies and stuff. And I've noticed that really drains my energy when people do that to me.
Well, and that's an interesting deal, because you made a very good point there. You said they're like energy vampires, and throughout
Yes.
studies of vampires, there is multiple different types of them. One of them is an energy one, and the most common side effect of knowing if one's been on you is you feel a heaviness on your chest, and you can't move, and you can't speak, and you can just literally feel the energy coming out of you, and that's what they're doing. They're feeding upon your energy. That's good, Richard. It's good to see you in here, cousin. That's my cousin right
Ain't
there.
nobody got time for that.
No, and which I've been victim to stuff like that. I've been where like I can't move, and I felt like something sitting on my chest, and I try to call out, and I can't call out, and then you can literally feel your body tingle as this stuff comes out. I've had that happen, and a lot of times like mainstream medical associate that with sleep paralysis. Uh, but there is a difference. Oops, I hit the wrong one. Sorry. There is a difference, but so I know you. I've told you this story before. I was doing that initial werewolf and dogman investigation in a certain location. I've had you remote view for me, and when I was there, I kept having something feel like it was pulling me away from my target area, and uh, and the best way to describe it is I could feel the energy. It was like an energy reaching out, saying, "Come here, come to me, come this way." And the more I ignored it, the stronger it got. And as the night went on, that's why I had to leave early, is because it got very, very strong, very, very violent. And you can also tell through feeling that energy, that was something old, and that was something evil. And if you know how to look into it, um, that you can kind of tell its intentions if you can do it right. And the intentions I got from it was I wouldn't be talking to you if I'd kept up. I don't know if you've ran into something on that in your investigations.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've ran into stuff like that in my everyday life. We had a haunted house on my farm. My family.
Boy, that was weird.
Uh,
There we go. That was really weird.
we just got kicked off. It's doing weird stuff today.
Yeah, give me a second. There, now I got to move back in place. I don't know what that was. Just weird. It's like everything on my computer just went.
Oh my god. Yeah. So what I was saying was that we had a haunted house on my farm, and this haunted house had a very ancient energy to it, very ancient. And excuse me. Okay, it had a very ancient energy to it, and it was just something that was very dark. It felt super dark, and I would never sleep in that house by myself. I would sleep in the house occasionally, okay, and I spent the night down there on many occasions, but never alone, because it was so incredibly haunted. And you could just tell, just energetically, you could tell it was something very old and ancient that had been there for a very long time. And I can't even explain how. It's just you just pick up on it. You just pick up on it. It wasn't something that was like just conjured up there, or just showed up. Like it was something that had been there for centuries probably. And that's why and like I said, it felt really dark, very dark. And I did not like it one bit. I didn't. So
I remember one time I had a boot in the Marines. Somebody fresh from boot camp, we call him a boot. And him and his wife had asked me because they said, "Man," I said, "Hey, Corporal, we got some weird stuff going on here in our lodging." And I was like, "Okay, well, what's going on?" And he kind of told me. I said, "That's something paranormal." He goes, "Yeah, I just didn't know how to put it because I don't want somebody to look at me wrong." And I said, "No worries." So he goes, "Can you come over and check this out? Because I know you deal with this stuff. Can you come check it out?" I said, "Yeah, not a problem, man." And as soon as I walked through their door, it was like I hit a wall of negativity. I mean, it was a strong, strong wall of negativity. And I said, "Wow." I said, I started feeling around, looking. I go, "It's up there in your attic." He goes, "Yeah, that's where a lot of our stuff is happening at." And I said, "You got a Ouija board?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I got a Ouija board." I said, "Yeah, you opened something up and you didn't close it, dude. You got something demonic going on here." He's like, "Well, how do you know I had a Ouija board?" I said, "Because you could feel it. I could feel the negativity coming from this." Hey, Lanes. So, I mean, you can feel that stuff. Oops. Oh,
yeah,
oh,
I don't
there we go.
mess. Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't mess with Ouija boards, Eric. I do not. Uh, Ouija boards are scary. Okay, and they just open up portals and to like dark stuff. I don't want that. I definitely don't want that in my house. But I did play with a Ouija board one time when I was 16. I was like 15 maybe or 14, or it was before 16 because I did not have a car. Okay, I do remember that because I would have driven away if I had a car. But I was at my friend's house and she pulled out a Ouija board and we were home alone. Her parents had not gotten home yet, and I was like, "Yay!" I was glad it was at her house, not mine. But but anyways, we pulled out a Ouija board and it like started talking to us. Basically, it was horrible, and I swear I'd never touch another one of those ever again.
Man, I did it once. I was somewhere around 16, 17 because I was driving at the time, so I had to be at least 16. And we went to the local cemetery in Buffalo and did that. Never again.
Oh my god,
Never again. There
no!
was some weird crap that happened that night in that cemetery. I was like, I
Oh
had
really?
visions of like trees burning. Yeah, I mean, I had visions rushing in my head of trees burning and hands coming out of the ground and these weird demonic looking things just walking all around. I was like, what the fuck? Gone. I mean, I left.
Oh my
I
god!
left. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
That is that is actually one of I've always said there's been a few times I've been ran out of the woods. Technically, that wasn't the woods, even though it's surrounded by woods. That is one of the times I've been ran out of an area because something pure evil and something bad was there, and that was one of the times. It's probably my first or second time that's ever been ran out of an area was in that area when them visions started hitting my head. I was like, I'm gone. Hey, Machete.
Ooh, well, you know, Ouija boards open you up energetically. Speaking of energy, Ouija boards will open you up energetically to other inner entities and stuff, and so you just don't want to mess with that, okay? Because that'll open you up for like attachments, spirit attachments, and stuff like that. And that's the last thing we need. I mean, I lived in a haunted house for probably 4 or 5 years, a very haunted house in Atlanta, and I had at least I had like two or three attachments that I actually acquired while I lived in that house. And they actually told me that they were attached to me while I lived at that house. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's another thing, just haunted houses. That's pure energy there too.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing is like, you know, it takes energy to activate and work a Ouija board properly. It also takes another amount of energy to close it properly. If you don't close it properly, then you know bad stuff is going to happen. But in haunted homes, I mean, you're dealing with that too, and that's
Hmm.
why anytime I do a paranormal investigation, I always this is what I say every single time is you know thank you for visiting me, thank you for communicating with me. Uh, you know, I'm about to leave. You do not have my permission to attach yourself to me or any of my equipment. Once I leave this door of this building or wherever it is I'm at, you have to remain here. And you have to do that because you have to set that boundary because there will be instances where you're on a paranormal investigation. If you do not set your boundaries up, they can attach themselves to you or your equipment and come home with you. I've made that mistake, and you know I learned the hard way. I like that. Oh, you're muted. Hold on. There you
There
go.
was one night or one day when I came home from the woods and I had orbs in my house that chased my. They didn't chase my son. They danced around my son's head one night, and we got that on video. And I do believe that they had attached. I think they attached to me. I guess at the meadow, and because we had never had orbs in the house like that before, and we never had them there again after that. So yeah, it's just it was just an energetic thing. And what are orbs? Are just balls of energy. Maybe
Uh-huh.
they were souls. I don't know. They're just little balls of energy, though. They seemed intelligent.
Mhm. Uh, and, and that's one. You know, speaking of energies and haunts, you know, the two places I've ever been to that's probably got the most negative and the most powerful energies are jails and hospitals. I guess it's because of all the people who have been in there in like the jails or the prisons or the
Mhm.
trauma that's happened in hospitals. But anytime I walk into a hospital or I'm walking into a jail, it's like instantaneous. Boom! You get hit with that negative energy, and it's like really, really powerful.
Yeah, that's what my buddy Barry Lilton, talks about that sometimes. He said that he talks about how souls, sit around and like people who have died sit around in hospitals waiting to jump into the newborn babies and stuff. Like, how
Mhm.
terrifying is that? Going to
Oh,
inhabit a brand new, pure little soul that just came into this world. All these corrupted, low vibing souls want to jump into a newborn and attach to them.
yeah.
I mean, that makes me want to. If I were to ever have another kid, which I will not, I'm sure, but I am too old. Okay, but and I got enough. I got one. But anyways, I would probably have a home birth at this point.
Mhm.
I would have a home birth. All right. I would not take it. I don't even want to ever take my child to the hospital for anything at this point. Just thinking about if there are sold all those people that die at the hospital, sitting there just waiting to jump into the next body they can find. A good, young, vibrant kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you don't put that barrier up, man, yeah, I mean they'll do it. They'll hop in you. Uh,
Oh yeah. And children
you know, it's
children don't
kind
know
of
to
laugh.
protect themselves.
No, I mean you'd think they're under Yahuwah's grace, which generally they are. So it makes you wonder what happened to that child that the Yahuwah's protection didn't keep it from
Hmm.
being taken. You know, because it's an innocent. You know, it makes
Yeah.
you wonder on the past life if you done something wrong, and that's why it didn't. I don't know. I'm getting a kick out of here because my cousin started something. He goes, I lived in a haunted house in St. Joe for several years. I did too. My first paranormal experience was in our house up there on Cudmore Street when I seen my late grandma's ghost. Donna Rose Tester was her name. When I seen her, that was my very first experience with ghosts and spirits when I was 3 years old. And that was in the house up on Cudmore. And I had to look it up a couple months back uh, and I did it on live too, on Google Maps. And that house is still there. And it was like instantaneous. I still felt that energy. And I haven't lived in there since I was 6 years old.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh. That's pretty wild, man. I think most of the people that I know, I promise you, like a lot of people I know grew up with haunted houses or in haunted houses. And if their house was not haunted, their grandparents' house was haunted or their cousin's house was haunted. Somebody knew somebody with a haunted house growing up. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that my house
I
was
mean-
haunted when I was a kid, but the lake house was across the lake from my house.
Mhm. Well, I mean, like here, I mean, how many times I've been live and you can hear something running through my house here or running, somewhere else or, like last weekend, I can't remember if I was on my show or Williams. I think I was on Williams. I had a cold air just shoot right over my left shoulder. And it's kind of warm in here because I turned the fan off and the fan on. It got a little cold. But a cold gust of air came shot through my over my shoulder, and I remember something else happened. I don't remember much about what happened after that, but I distinctly remember feeling that cold breeze. Whew. I mean, we are surrounded by ghosts no matter where we go. Just some are more active than others.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they say that we can only see a certain percentage of what's in front of our faces, right? Like what, 10%? And
Mhm.
I mean, there's dead people everywhere. They're all around us. Just imagine, y'all sleep tight. Yeah, y'all sleep tight tonight with all your dead friends in the room with you over there, like dead. I don't mean that in a terrible way, y'all. I just mean like all your ghost friends. What I meant to say, all your ghost friends. I don't know. So Eric, I did one of these. I did this thing one time where I went to. I had a session with a gentleman who had a ghost box, and this is before they had like ghost boxes that you could buy at the store that any of us could buy. And this guy, his name was Christopher Moon, and he came to Atlanta, and I made an appointment. I paid big money to go do this, okay, and it was not cheap. I do remember that. And I went because my brother had just died, and I had a boyfriend who had died, and my aunt, and like my grandparents, all these people had died recently, and I just wanted to go see if I could talk to them and make sure they're okay, and so I went, and when I walked in that room, he had one of those like a Thomas Edison voice box to the dead or something like that. And it was like a big contraption that he had on the table. And he had like a spirit guide. I think his name was Tyler, maybe a young man who had crossed over, who was his spirit guide who helped him find my relatives to bring them to the spirit box to talk. Okay, that's how it worked.
Mhm.
And so when I got into that room and I sat down and he turned that box on, the voice that came through was Tyler, and he was like, there's like 40 something, 50 something people in here with Jessica. All of these relatives and my friends, all these people had like crowded into the room. And it was weird because before he said that, I was like claustrophobic and I was having trouble breathing. And it was weird because I had picked up on that energy of like being in a crowded room, but yet it was this gigantic room and the only people in there were me and Christopher. And so I was having trouble kind of wrapping my head around that because I could feel the energy of it, of all these people. And he said, well, all these relatives came and they want to be here for you today. They're all here with you. And one by one, they started talking to me. and stuff. And I had like full long conversations with like my grandfather. I talked to him about religion. Like I didn't ask him questions. He just started offering me all this information. And I remember them telling me, here's one thing that they did tell me, my grandfather. Now this is a voice. Honestly, with these spirit boxes at this point, I'm not sure who's talking through there. Like you could be tricked too. Okay. You can. I'm just saying. But I believe this was probably him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he told me, he said, I remember him saying, he's like, there is no religion here. That's what he told me. And I think my grandmother chimed in and was like, yeah, he's right. Yeah. He said, you'll be glad to know that like, it's just all like, it's all love. And he's like, there's no religion here. And just stuff like that, you know, and any questions I had, it wasn't like personal questions. I was asking about the afterlife and like what happened when they died. And I was getting answers.
Mm-hmm.
I asked what happened with my brother the moment he died and how I knew he was dead. And I mean, I think I asked the right questions. Okay. And so it wasn't like I knew that he was okay because he was there to talk to me, you know? So I had deeper questions than just, are you okay? You know, tell me what happened. Who's there with you right now? Where do you live? Are you in a house? Like, are you living in a home with like our family, or like, do you have another life now? Like, what is it? It was pretty cool.
Well, you know, I was trying to find something real quick because I'm pretty sure I've told you about this or shared it with you before. When I was doing that paranormal investigation of the Springfield Commercial Club, I've got a response that I've tried for years to get a response from. You know, and that's is my, you know, deceased relatives here with me, because I had one telling me that you're my son, and I said, what do you mean I'm your son? We're family? Yes. I said, can you talk to my uh, you know, my deceased loved ones? And it said maybe. And that was towards the end of my investigation that all this came out. I was trying to find it real quick because I was going to download and play it for you. But yeah, they do respond that way because that fits with exactly what you was just talking about. But it's going to take me a while to find it, so I just stopped.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was in contact with. I mean, I do believe that some of those energies were my family members. I do. I 100% do. And they were telling me they're not that like something dark wouldn't know my family's names. You know what I mean? But I mean, the things that we were talking about and the exchange that I had with them, I could energetically feel that was my family. You know, I go with my gut, and that I feel like they were my family.
And I've asked the question before, but it didn't. You know, one time I felt a familiar energy, and you know, those of you who's been following me for a little while know that when I went to a very dark time when Cheryl, who was my true love, was taken from this realm extremely early, and I went to a very dark place. I became a very dark person. And there's times I've been on, you know, like just sitting around the house. And I think this was actually captured while I was here at the house one day. Is that, hey, Lakeside, I felt that familiar energy. It's like, I know this. And instantly the image, because this is, so when I'm tapping into energies, a lot of times an image will pop in my head of what that energy is. And her image is what popped in my head. And so I popped out the deal. I said, Cheryl, is that you? Are you here? And all it said was, yes. It was just like that. And then I never could get her to talk anymore after that.
She just wanted you to know that she was there, probably. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's comforting. Well, I mean, I think that our loved ones are just like very close to us all the time. I really do. I think that they're just in another dimension. And I mean, it could be a foot away from us. Okay, they could all be like a foot away, and they're there.
Oh, I've caught my mom here chewing my ass out before. literally, and I knew it was
You
real.
have.
The energy and how it's talked, yeah. She's like, because I one day, man, I was really really tired, like really really tired, and because I live in the place, this is where she last lived before she passed away, and I bought the place from Dad, shortly after she passed, and I kept hearing things, and I could have swore I was hearing somebody call my name, so I popped at the deal, and I commenced to talk. Who's here? And she says, kitchen, disgusting, shame. I was like, shit, that's
Oh,
what she was getting on to me because I didn't clean my kitchen.
oh,
Uh,
it's disgusting, Eric. You better get in there and clean.
I did. I was like, I'll get it in the morning. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll get it when I wake up. I was just so tired. Uh, so it did though. But I did. I was
That's
laying in
funny.
bed and I was like almost asleep. I was almost asleep, and all of a sudden I hear Eric. I was like, what the fuck? And it was a female's voice. I was like, damn, it kind of sounds like my mom. So I was listening. I heard it again. Eric. I was like, oh crap. That's when I pulled out that deal and commenced to talking. It was like, and then it lit into me. I was like, even beyond the grave, you're chewing my ass out. Come on, man. Give me a break. I mean, it's comical,
Hey,
but at the time, it's like, oh man,
yeah, she's got to keep
yeah,
keep you in your place, man. She's got to make sure you're taking care
yeah,
of that house.
oh
Yeah,
yeah. So,
that's awesome.
but yeah, I've had several firsthand experiences of family members or loved ones who's interacted with. And to be honest with you, not just the experiences I've had since I was 3, but me wanting to connect with Cheryl again, that longing, because that's always left a very empty void in me, is why I started really getting into paranormal stuff like really, really hard because I wanted to know. It's that question: do they still come around? Are they still around? Yeah, I feel their energies. And I see images and I can hear their voices sometimes, but I want to know. And that's what really drove me to get really hard into paranormal stuff because I wanted answers to these questions. And
Hmm.
that day at the Springfield Commercial Club was an eye opener. And yeah, my oldest daughter is just now being able. She's like, so she called me like, oh, it's probably about 6 months ago. Yeah, because she's up in Nebraska doing college. And she goes, Dad, I had something weird. Can you talk? I was like, yeah, yeah, baby. What's going on? And she started describing to me, and I was just sitting there grinning. I said, well, I guess it did get passed on to you. So I started telling her all this stuff that was going on, but she had never experienced this stuff before. My youngest daughter has. And so I told her, I was like, look, I said, I've never had anybody teach me this stuff. A lot of stuff I've learned on my own through, most of the time doing something wrong. And I said, I'll help you through it, help you to discern it, you know, figure it out how to work it. She hasn't called back. It freaked her out. I was like, it happens. It's part of the family deal. But
Yeah, we
yeah,
it passes down in my family too, Eric. It's definitely been passed down, and my son has inherited it as well. So it's just I think it's a gift. It's a blessing and a curse, kind of, because it can be kind of
it is.
scary, especially for kids. But it's also a blessing. I think it's great to be able to communicate with our loved ones and to pick up on their energy. And
Yeah.
I could always use some extra guidance by the wise ones, okay, and the not so wise
Oh,
ones too.
and it's and a lot of times, like when I get a client who calls me, he's like, I got this going on, and I think it's this person here, which is about 95% of the time is probably going to be a recently deceased loved one. When I get someone who calls me in on this stuff. So and I'll go in and we'll start talking. And it works and people don't understand this. So and I've talked about this all the time on my show and other shows. When you own that property, you have the power of that property. And a lot of it It's energy. When I'm talking about power, is energy. That's your power. You have the power of that place. You can call me in to get something out, but it's not going to work near as strong unless you're there. The same thing happens when we're trying to communicate with them too. If I've got you there, I'm more likely to be able to get a connection with what's there versus if you're gone. Not just because A, they're familiar with you, but B is your energy. So when you combine my energy with your energy, a lot of times you'll be surprised how much EVPs I get when I've got the client with me on the investigation. And on the Springfield Commercial Club, I had that happen, and it shocked my client out. The responses she got. See where I left
I
off.
think it's kind of the same too with cryptids too. Is like I was telling my buddy today, when I was on his podcast earlier, I was telling him that, the Bigfoots know when we're about to go there. Okay. Or maybe that was last night. I don't know. I do a lot of shows. Okay. So it might have been last night. The Bigfoots know when we're headed out there before we get there. And they pick up on our energy. And if I were to take a friend out there to where we do our Bigfoot research, the whole energy it's more negative out there when I'm there, because I don't think that the Bigfoots are fans of having strangers out there, and certainly don't like it when I bring
No,
strangers out there.
no. I ran into that when we done that documentary, Byways of Bigfoot. I didn't have activity for about damn near a month out here after that, and it was you could tell, you could feel their energy, and you'll see me in the documentary. I look up because all of a sudden I had that feeling is who are these people and why are they here? That was the exact excuse me, the exact feeling I'd gotten during that, and I didn't have activity for like a month here after that. This is going to be a question for you because I absolutely have no clue, but Honest wants to know, what if remote viewing makes you the ghost in the room?
Well, then I'm a ghost. I'll take that. Yeah, it does make you the ghost in the room. It actually kind of does. There was one night where I believe that I saw myself remote viewing me. And looking back on it, it's really weird how time and space works, right? Because time is not linear by any means. And our human brains, we have to make sense of it somehow. So time is linear to our human construct here. But when I lived in Decatur, Georgia, okay, I lived back in Decatur, and I woke up one night and there were these like sparkly lights in the corner of my bedroom, and I was like, man, that's weird. I didn't know what it was, okay, and just some sparkly like golden lights in the corner of my room. And so one day I had the bright idea to remote view what that was. This is way down the road in the future. So I did like a remote. I'm not going to say remote view. It was more like a psychically tuning in, but it was. I guess you could call it remote viewing. Okay, but it was just me viewing what that was. Okay, not a coordinate remote viewing target. It was like an energetic remote viewing target. Okay, there's ERV, energetic remote viewing. Okay, it's a little different than what I do. What I show everybody on air. Okay, it's a little different mode. And so I did like kind of like an energetic remote viewing of what those lights were in my room. Well, guess what? I concluded. So I remote viewed those lights. Well, it turns out I think that was me remote viewing the lights in the future that I saw in the past. Okay.
Yeah,
So if that makes any sense. Yeah.
I remember you said one time that you could have swore you heard yourself calling out to you.
Oh no, I definitely heard myself yell at myself. Yeah, for out in the woods one night, I was walking. We were hiking into the meadow. That's a place where we do our some research, undisclosed location, and I was walking in with my friend Tim. And I need to know actually that Tim. That was the last time Tim ever went out in the woods with us because he passed away within a month of us going out there, and unexpectedly passed away. Okay, and so me and Tim and his daughter were were hiking into the woods a little earlier before the team, because Tim was having health problems. He didn't know what was wrong. It turned out it was his heart. Okay, but we didn't know it at the time. And so I hiked in with them to try to get there a little early so we didn't have to slow the team down, And we got about halfway into the meadow hiking in, and I heard a woman's voice from across the creek, like across the little water source over there. And she goes, "Time travel." But like said it really loud. And I was like, well, that was weird. I was like, who is that? And it took weeks for me to realize that was my voice, because it was so weird. Like I had never heard my own voice yell at me before. And so now Tim and his daughter did not hear it, but I heard it loud as day. And so there's like three different options of what that could have been. Okay. Number one, it could be me in the future. I've never remote viewed that, but who's to say in the future I don't? And that could have been me remote viewing us. And then I did a deep mind probe on myself. And I said, time travel to myself. Okay. Could be that. That's number one. Number two, I could be a time traveler. Okay. And like I time travel to that point at some point. Okay. And I experienced myself watching myself hiking down that trail. It could be that. Okay. So there's that. Or it could be number three. Maybe it's like a mimic. You know what I mean? A S-Walker, a mimic or something that was out there. But why would they say time travel, Eric? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think an S-Walker is going to say time travel to me. That was so random.
No, because that was one of my thoughts too. Is like, okay, you could have a mimic. You could have. There's so many things that mimic voices out there. Is it one of those, or was you remote viewing yourself? When you was telling that story, this was stuff going through my head. Like, okay, these are the possibilities, but the time travel thing, you're right. I don't know, unless that was just on your subconscious, you didn't know it and it picked it up. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, it was very odd. It's very odd. It's still an unsolved mystery. Okay, and I have not done a remote viewing target of that or anything. So I don't know. I tend to like the storyline of like I'm a time traveler and I'm going to be time traveling one day back into the past. That would be like that's my favorite option right there.
Well, Nikola Tesla, if you believe in a lot of stuff, Nikola Tesla supposedly built a time machine. That was one of his things, and it used, guess what? Energy,
frequency, vibration. We know that the White House came out recently admitting that time travel technology is real and they have access to it.
I thought I seen something on that.
Has access.
Okay. I thought I remember seeing something, but from the source I seen it from was like, this has got to be scuttlebutt. So I didn't pay it a whole lot of mind, but I do remember seeing something on there.
Oh yeah. They admitted that time travel technology is real, and that I don't know if the military or the government, they got access to it, is what they said. So they've had access to time travel technology for a long time.
Well, the closest thing that I've ever known, and this is military wise, that I know of, is what we gathered over in that big kitty litter box when we was over there, and that was the little mirror called a looking glass, and it uses energy, and it gives you, I can't remember if it's 1,500 or 15,000 or 150,000. It's one of those. I remember the 1.5. Different outcomes that can happen. And if you do something a certain way, that makes this outcome happen. But you have to be in the right energy field in order for it to work, and that energy field moves. So sometimes it can be in the air, sometimes it can be on water, sometimes it can be underwater, sometimes it's on land, sometimes it's on low land, sometimes it's high land. It's all over the place. But if you take that mirror, which they call the looking glass, and you put it in, take that energy field, it gives you like multiple different outcomes of the future, and you get to watch the future play out, and then you got to play with it right to get whatever outcome you're looking for.
that's the scary part too, is like, who's in charge of the outcome? Who's playing God in our lives? That's the good question right there. Because, Andrew Basiago is a gentleman who claims that when he was a little boy, he was part of the Montauk Project, and a Project Pegasus, actually, is what it was called, Project Pegasus. And that's where they were taking, reportedly, and I know multiple people who claim to be part of that program. It's mostly little boys, like 7, 8 years old. They say that when they were little boys, they were, I don't know if they were put in the Montauk chair. I don't know how it worked. I'm not sure. But they were sent back in time. And Andrew Basiago actually claims that he's in a picture. There's a picture that he shows of a little boy at the Gettysburg Address, I believe. And he says that was him in that picture, that you can tell that's him because he had to, when he got there, he didn't have shoes. He didn't have shoes on. And he had to like find clothing that fit into the environment with the other people there. And he had to, I don't know if he stole somebody's shoes or if he borrowed like a grown man's shoes. So the shoes are too big on him. And you can clearly see him in this picture as a little boy with these big shoes on. And he claims, he's like, that's me. I went there. I gave, they're there to like give messages to the president. Time traveling children. So it's all energetic.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And that's the thing is like during World War II, a certain organization was dealing with time travel in the Bell. Everybody knows the term the Bell. And look what happened. It disappeared. Now, some say it reappeared in, what was it, Arizona, Nevada, something like that. I can't remember when it did. I've never found definitive proof on it actually reappearing there. But that is the scuttlebutt. I think it was in the Montauk Files, wasn't it? Where that reappeared?
Probably. Are you talking about the Philadelphia experiment?
No. The Bell. The Nazi Bell.
Oh yeah, the Bell, the Die Glocke.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually the Kex. There was actually the Kecksburg UFO incident that actually looked a lot like the Die Glocke Bell or whatever, like the time traveling device. It's like the time traveling vessel. I don't know. There's just so much like ancient technology and stuff that's really been hidden for a long time from the general public. So, but yeah, they've had access to stargates and just all sorts of different time traveling, teleportation technology as well. That's what the Montauk Project was all about, was like teleportation, and the Philadelphia experiment as well. I actually went to New York about almost 2 years ago, up to Montauk with some Montauk Project survivors. And we went up there for the anniversary of the 20-year biorhythm portal that opened on the ocean right there, where they say that every 20 years, the USS Eldridge from the Philadelphia experiment reappears. And sometimes you can see the men in a boat. Like a couple of the guys jumped off of it right before it all happened. They claimed they had jumped off of this ship and they swam to shore. And they say that you could even see these guys go into the diner downtown, like a diner or a library. So we had people posted up, like we went there to go to observe it. I remote viewed it actually for the team, for the group that was up there. And we went up and we had a group of people on a boat out in the middle of the ocean. We had people in town posted up around town to watch for the men to see if they showed up. We had people at the bluff, which is like the cliff side over at Camp Hero, where the program happened there. And it was so weird because that morning we had been there for a week. Okay, I spent over a week there. And we stayed at a house over there right on Montauk Island, the island there. Right like in the Hamptons, basically. It was nice. But we got there and it was a beautiful week. The sky was clear. It was just beautiful weather, right? And the day of that biorhythmic portal when it was supposed to open, the day of that, we woke up and the fog was so thick outside you could not even see in front of your face for a foot, and it seemed very unnatural. It was very unnatural. It was almost like somebody had gone and, dare I say, turned on fog machines. And not to say it's not unusual to have fog on the ocean right there, but it was, even after this day, it was never foggy again. It was only that day. And it was during the time period that we assumed this thing would happen. In the morning early until about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It was so foggy and it never let up ever. And it wasn't even like rainy outside or anything. And we did see, like, some of the people that were in the boat did see blue and green lightning out there in the water, but it was definitely to cover up whatever was going to be seen out there. 100%. 100.
Oh yeah. Real quick, Cafe 25. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Much appreciated. You're awesome. Oops, hit the wrong button. But that's dealing with energies too, and that's something that I think is important. That's why I want to do a show on energies, because everything we're talking about has energy involved with it to either make it work or detect it or whatever the instance is. It's all connected to energies. Everything has it. Everything does. And energies can heal, energies can destroy, energies can calm, energies can cause mayhem. I mean, everything, frequency too. I mean, frequency's up there with it, but it's all energy based. And this is just one technique I use when I'm out investigating, is I'm tapping into those energies. Or hunting a two-legged critter that's doing something bad, we got to figure out where he's at, which is a type of hunting too. So the medicine man battle this guy conjured fog. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I caught that. Yeah, fog is made of water. Yeah, I mean, I caught that weird fog on my game cam the other night. That's one I was showing on the show yesterday. It's weird because it had horizontal lines in it. It was all. I could show it, but it's got horizontal lines. It's the weirdest thing I've ever captured when it comes to fog on a game. I have shared it. There it is.
Yeah, somebody was talking about water being a conductor for portals the other day too.
Yep.
Somebody in my chat said that. That's an interesting point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Fog could be a conductor for portals.
Yep, it can. Wait, load up. Fog. I mean, look at the moisture is a great conduct for electricity too. There's a reason why they tell you do not be in the water during a lightning storm, because electricity travels through water quick. One of the things I'm looking for on a paranormal investigation is there running water? If you got running water, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a battery for paranormal. And excuse me, sorry. And so that's one of the things I'm looking for. Yeah, I can see that. Oh,
oh yeah, for sure. I am totally frozen. I can see I'm frozen. Oh, sorry. I'm just a mannequin today. I have no emotions.
Heck yeah. It's emotions. But let's see how I can zoom in a little bit. See how straight these lines are across here?
Oh yeah. Interesting.
It's just the weirdest thing I ever caught. I mean, somebody pointed out that they seen a face right here, and you kind of see how the fog kind of contours to it. I'm almost convinced that's paranormal. That is like the weirdest fog I've ever caught on a game cam, and it's just straight horizontal lines, like something that's going, just shooting across the screen. And it's so, I mean, it's cool either way, but That's look how much activity, paranormal or cryptid wise, deals with fog as well. I mean, it's all energy.
That's right. I actually
Trying to get
I had a night where we were out in the field and I had a fog that started chasing us down the hiking trail. Basically, it was anytime we would move, it would move. If we'd speed up, it would speed up. If we stopped, it stopped. And we were not imagining this. It really did happen. And we were actually it had a horrible, talk about energy. It had a horrible energy to it, horrible vibe, and we just had a really bad feeling about it. And one of my buddies, same guy, Tim, who passed away, who was with me that night when I heard my voice across the way. He was a special forces, military guy, and he stayed back and made sure that we were going to be safe while I got the rest of the team down to the bottom of the hill back to base camp. Because that fog, that was no joke. I mean, you don't know what's hiding in the fog. I mean, artificial fog. I mean, to me, it seemed as though it had a consciousness to it. So watch
yeah.
out for the fog.
And William and I have talked about a fog of energy that it's like you can feel the tingling in it. It's like not like a normal fog, but you can feel literally the electric field through this fog. And it makes you wonder if it's a different type of fog. But I mean, it's moisture. And once again, moisture is a great conductor. It's, oh, sorry. But, oh man, I'm brain farting here for a second. There was something I was wanting to talk about when it comes to energies as well with life forms. But communicating. You can communicate through the energy as well, and I think that's when you're dealing with paranormal because you got to think paranormal is energy. In essence, it's an energy, and so they're communicating. When you're communicating with paranormal, it's using energy to communicate, and like when you see an orb dealing with paranormal, it's like a ball of energy. Uh, so I mean, I've got videos of orb. Well, I don't know if I still do or not. Of orbs shooting through me. Sorry, I just had out of corner of my eye, seen something big and black just shoot across my yard, but I missed it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, essentially, that's what you're doing, and that's what these are. I mean, and there's some supernatural entities that's more energy than physical as well. But it's all tied. It's all tied. Uh,
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, orbs are interesting because to me, I think orbs are just like balls of energy, right? And it's like what does Barry call it? The non-corporeal form of like or I mean, it could be like a soul. I mean, sometimes orbs have faces in them and stuff too. Just balls of energy.
yeah, it is. And we've talked about that several times because there's different types of orbs. I mean, I've seen UFO style orbs, I've seen Bay style orbs, and I've seen paranormal um, types of orbs. I've seen there's different kinds, and sadly, like when I'm doing a paranormal investigation, oh, hit the wrong button. Sorry. Paranormal investigation. This time of year is kind of hard when you're looking for orbs because is it paranormal? Is it dust or is it insects? And this time of year, you got so many insects out, you'll run into that and sometimes they'll light up and look like an orb. Yeah, so you have to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, and yeah, all that moisture too. Like moisture, when you're out in the outside and there's like a lot of fog or whatever, fog turns into orbs. Okay, in pictures, it totally turns into orbs. And I've had people that show me pictures before, and it was like full of little particles of water, but they maybe might have thought it was like ghosts or something. So I don't know. Maybe there were ghosts out there. I'm sure, but that's just stuff that I mean, I've taken plenty of
Yeah.
pictures that I thought might have been like an orb, like a ghost or something, but it was probably just fog.
it could be. I mean, it's hard to tell. So one like this time of year, I mean, I do it all year round, but this time of year, really got to pay attention to it. Is how it moves. Uh, like at one, and that on the part one of the investigation I just did, you seen an orb shoot over my EMF detector, and as it shot over my EMF detector lit up. That tells me that's paranormal. And then you'll see an orb that shot at my towards my camera and disappeared. And right when it did, it triggered the night vision light on my camera and it lit it up. So hey, that's not dust. I mean, this is winter time, so it wasn't insects, but it's things like that that I look for when I'm doing these paranormal investigations when it deals with orbs. Because, like I said, you have to be careful because dust and insects can be look like orb and fog too. I mean, water droplets, like you was talking about.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of pictures of me from like growing up, and there's orbs in the pictures. Hey, like real solid orbs in some of the pictures from my childhood and as a young adult as well. It seems like there was always an orb in the picture. That was back before we had digital pictures too, like the kind that that was back when we had like cameras. We had to take the film to the film developer, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't digital pictures too, of course, but yeah, always had an orb. Shoot, you can go back to look at some of my old videos I have on my YouTube channel, and I oftentimes have had orbs floating around me while I'm talking.
I've had that happen.
Hmm.
Yeah, actually, that's what it was. The last weekend. Now, thank you for saying that. It just hit me. I had you seen like a little orb, and I remember saying that on the show. I was like, man, I just seen an orb, and like a second later, I felt that cool gust of wind. That's what it was. That the other thing I was trying to think of, and I think it was on William's show, and I think it was a Friday. I think it was Friday night actually. I'd seen an orb shooting, and I said, "Oh man, I just seen an orb," and all of a sudden there was a cool gust of wind. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the show that happened.
Wow, that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
It's cool when they show themselves, like
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I was doing a show. I think I had Barry. I think I brought Barry up again, but I was doing some kind of show. It was some kind of remote viewing target, and as I was doing the introduction for this show. This orb, like it looked like it went flying past my chest or something. I can't remember, but it was so shocking to me because I was watching it as it happened and it floated right in front of my face. And then it shot off. So like everybody watching live saw it. And it was really cool. It was like a little orb. But it very clearly, like it just manifested right there in front of everybody.
Mhm.
Super cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and I love it. I mean, I personally get excited if it's something that I can say. Oh, okay. Yeah, you saw that, Joanne. Okay, yeah, yeah. I was thinking you was in the chat, but I could. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It happens, man. And that I was sitting right here in my computer chairs. So I mean, uh, that stuff's around you all the time. But it all it is it's energy. It's a ball of energy. Because when you leave this fleshy body, this fleshy skin suit, that's all you turn into is a ball of energy. Uh,
Oh yeah, our human meat suits.
hmm uh, okay, I just want to make sure I was caught up on the comments there. Comments are going, so I'm trying to keep up with it. But so so another thing is like when you're trying to manifest your chi with your hands, right?
Hmm.
That's what you're doing is you're manipulating the energy within your body. And I've had it, where I felt warmness coming through my hands when I've had it up here about almost chest level. And
Hmm.
my doc, when I was over getting my acupuncture done Friday, he's like, "Man, put that thing below your belly button and do it." And when I did that, I felt tingling all through my hands and my arms, and it was just you can feel it spread from my hands throughout my body. And he says that's realigning your energies. That's how you realign your energies. So I mean, once again, when you're trying to do that stuff, that's energy based.
It is. You know what? I got certified in Reiki. Actually, so I know Reiki. It was my buddy Joel actually taught me that. We traded off actually because I remember I taught him the first few stages of like remote viewing. The only person I've ever taught remote viewing to was him. He's a good friend of mine. And he certified me in like it was level 1, like the first level ever. So like we did an even trade, right? And so he has a method. It's like multi-dimensional Reiki, and which is energy healing. And I spent a day teaching him some remote viewing stuff, and he spent a day teaching me Reiki, and it was amazing. And it really does work. It really does help. It's really good to be able to identify when there's issues with your body, like energetically. Just by basically rubbing your hands over your body and stuff. And there are people who can do distant distant Reiki healings. And that's where you can it's just an energetic, they send you healing energetically it could be from across the world, basically. And it does work. It does work. In my case, it's worked.
There's been a few times I've been able to like place my hand on somebody that was hurting in an area, and if I focused hard enough, I could send it, and it relieved the pain in them. I'm not very good at it. I've only done it like 2, 3, 4 times. I mean, but it when I do that, it like drains me. So I haven't done it in a long time because the last time, I mean, I got really, really drained from doing it. But I was looking into this stuff, and I was like, man, there's got to be something to it. So I want to try it. And when I did it, it did relieve their pain. Their pain went away, but at the same time, it caught me, and it physically drained me bad. So I don't know how to do it anymore because that was just me goofing off.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So that's the positive side of like sending energy to people, right? Because I mean, even when I do my shows and I'm like, I'm sending all my love and light to everybody, okay? Like something that's positive, and you want to send good energy out to people. Well, there's also people who will send bad energy out too, Eric. Okay, like bad energy on purpose.
Oh yeah.
And it's like casting spells and stuff on people. It's casting. I mean, even with TV shows and stuff, we got to be careful what we ingest, what we consume when it comes to even watching TV or being on the internet. That's all energy manipulation right there.
Well, it's like William and I say all the time. It even says it in the Bible. When you speak, you're spell casting. So be careful what you say because you can create it, make it happen. And you're using your energy to create something out of nothing. It's spell casting.
Spell casting. That's right. It's broadcasting live.
Yep.
Throwing bad energy at people and stuff. And that's more energy vampirism. Personally, that's what I think.
Oh yeah.
Energy vampirism.
But
I mean, just think about like how enthralled people get with things like, okay, let's go from a TV standpoint, right? Like the WW, I don't even know if the WWF is still in. I don't even know what it's called now, right? But like the wrestling, professional wrestling.
Yeah, WWE now.
Okay, WWE, all that kind of stuff. People get so like emotional about it. I hate to say emotional. I don't mean that in a bad way, but they get so enthralled in the drama of it, right? So enthralled in it. And it's just like, I don't know. It's called, to me, I call that energy harvesting. Okay. It's like energy harvesting. That's like with that kind of stuff, with like professional sports, any place where there's like a sports arena, right? A lot of high emotions there. A lot of high emotions, hatred and love and joy and sadness. It's just like one extreme to the next. At places like that. So those are like, they put these, I'm telling you, they put those arenas at places of power, like power grid points or something. Yeah. Maybe on ley lines to like harness that energy. Yeah. And by they, I don't know who I'm talking ancestors about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our ancestors did. The pyramids, the monoliths, the Oh my God. Oh damn killer things. Anyways, I mean, a lot of our ancient structures were put um, on energy locations, and if you notice, like hotspots for like paranormal, cryptid, or supernatural, there's areas that's really tied to energy in them areas. Uh,
Hmm.
it's all makes sense. That's why when people say it, like I can see it. Yeah,
Hmm.
so,
Oh yeah,
yeah, they did.
definitely.
They did. Yeah. Like Nikola Tesla's designed what's called a med beds that's starting to get out. I think they're in Georgia now, but they're being built in Florida. And they're starting to get out. That's all done off frequencies and energies.
Mhm. Yeah, I actually got to see a med bed uh, last
Oh,
July at a conference that I spoke at. There was a gentleman that had a med bed, and it just turns out that that gentleman lives right down the road from me today, right now.
hmm,
And he has a med bed here. It's in Georgia. It's definitely in Georgia. And that was
yeah.
actually really cool. Now his was more like a homemade kind of med bed, I think. I mean, I don't even know what they look
Oh,
like. It was some kind of
you can buy
Tesla
the parts
coils
to
and
make.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had made a med bed, and actually they say it worked. It works, but they've got, I don't know if they got like industrial size type of med beds. I don't know how it works. I don't know, but I do know that that's one of the next things. Hopefully, we got coming out. Uh, Humanity needs that because everything has been stacked against
Yeah.
us and worked against us
Yeah.
to get rid of us. Now we need to turn that around and start healing ourselves instead
Yeah.
of dying off.
Yeah. And people like to ask me, what's med beds? Well, you ever seen that movie Elysium? In that movie, that's what they're doing. They're going to a med bed to get healed, and the med bed scans them, finds out what's wrong with them, sends out the proper energy and frequency to heal that part of their body. That's what a med bed does. The ones now, I think you have to enter in the symptoms, if memory serves me correctly. I don't know if they've upgraded or not, but the last one that I looked into, you had to enter in the symptoms, and it shows what frequencies and that that uses to heal it.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, it's all about the frequencies, right? And that's why all these
Yeah,
bells. That's why they took away all the bells. Gosh, how sinister
yeah,
is that? To take away all the
yeah.
old world technology that was here to prolong our lives, to make us feel better, to make us live longer,
Yeah.
just to get rid of
Well,
it. You know,
a
like.
lot of them bells were used to ward off evil. Of course, the right
Mhm.
kind of bell can heal as well. But like in churches, when they had the bells and the steeple, that was for warding off evil. That frequency that came from that bell warded off the evil, and that's what it was designed for. And then they took it away and put electronics in it. Well, electronics, it's going to work, but not to the degree of the actual bell itself.
Yeah, we have a bell in town, and it's at a local church, and every 15 minutes that bell rings. Okay, every 15 minutes,
Hmm.
and it's in the steeple on top of the church, and it is not a real bell, and it is so not comfortable listening to it. It's very like I'm sensitive to sounds, like to noises and tones and stuff like that. Like it's almost I don't say it's repulsive because that sounds horrible, right? It's not repulsive, but it's
Yeah,
not natural. It's like a recording basically, and
you can
it's
feel it.
oh god, it's terrible. It's just terrible. They need to replace it with a real bell. Okay, replace it with a real bell, or just
That's
don't use it at all.
that's one thing about when I went to college at MSU, or it used to be SMSU. It's MSU now. Uh, there was a guy that was what he majored in college, was playing the bells at school, and throughout the day, during certain times of day, you hear him dinging them bells. And you can always tell the difference between an actual bell and a recording, and you feel it. I mean,
Mhm.
a real bell feels way more comforting than a recording.
Most definitely. most definitely. Yeah, I've heard that like the people who actually rang the bells, all the bells in the healing centers, the churches, they had to
Mhm.
have pretty intensive training on how to actually ring those bells. So wow,
Yeah,
that's
'cause
pretty cool.
you can have cause a negative reaction if you do it wrong.
Well,
I'm kind of laughing. I seen Marley put this up. I was like, we need to start a hashtag. It says hashtag bring back the bells. That's what I thought when I seen that comment.
yeah. Well, if it, especially if they run all the negative entities out. I mean, you know, what about all these shapeshifters we have right now? You know, the politicians and the
Yeah,
celebrities and the. So I heard somebody say, instead
yeah.
of saying the elite, they said the delete, delete. But you know, people that are allegedly shape-shifting reptilians and stuff. Like, who's to say that these bells aren't, not having the bells is what's keeping them around right now? You know, maybe we should bring the bells back and see who's standing, see who's left standing, who's still here. um, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Uh, there's a reason why monks use them, and each bell has a certain purpose to it. That's why you have a different type. That's why certain not just monks, but Buddhist, I think, or that's monks. There's another group, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. They use the bells, and it's all you got a certain bell for a certain purpose because it has a certain frequency to it. So, yeah, I mean, it's 100% legitimate. I mean, and that's why our ancestors did it. That's why they had certain things. That's why things were built in certain locations. Frequency and energy was very, very sacred and spiritual to our ancestors.
Oh yeah, very much. I mean,
Oh, that's
you can go to places today. Like I have friends that do sound baths. That's what they call it, where they take their, like, I don't know if they're like Tibetan singing bowls, or like those bowls. They all hold a different frequency, and so
Mhm.
you go and each frequency. I mean, I was at like what is one of those stores called? Like some kind of store the other day, and they had like these little miniature chakra bowls, like singing bowls basically. And you
Yeah,
could buy that. I
yeah.
I didn't buy one, but I need to get some real ones. Is what I need. And Maureen's got some. Hey, Marina's got her gong. Okay, the girl in her gong.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Thank you for that super sticker, Maureen. You're badass, man. That's right. Hashtag bring back the bells. I buy
for
you
sure,
your hell yeah.
for sure. Thank
Yeah.
you, Maureen. But she's got a gong. The gong, gosh, the gong it clears energy, right? I think that's the whole purpose of a
Yeah.
gong. I think,
Uh,
or part of
man,
part
it's
of the
been a long
purpose, not
time.
not all the only purpose, but part of the
Yeah.
purpose is it clears energy. Just like when we clap our hands, you can clap your hands and that clears the energy around you. It's
Mhm.
actually a good thing to do if you're feeling down and out, you're not feeling so great. Just clap, get up and dance and clap your hands, and change that
Laughter
energy
is
up.
another one.
Instead of yelling at somebody if they make you mad, just clap in their face. I'm just kidding. Just get your hands and just clap in their face. I don't know. That's gonna make things worse. So be careful, y'all.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's actually interesting because laughter, which is also a type of frequency. I mean, Patch Adams said it right. Laughter heals so many things. It's sounds. Sounds do amazing things. Sounds can help you sleep. Sounds can calm your mind. Sounds can also cause chaos. And what is sound? Sound is a type of energy. So I mean, it's all this is part of it, and it all does. It's like I said at the beginning of the show. You can either it can be used for good or it can be used for bad, depending on the frequency.
Yes, I don't go clapping in people's faces. I see your comments. Kind of clap, well, clap your ass. Yeah, be careful, y'all. People don't like
Yeah.
people get. I wouldn't like it if somebody clapped in my face. They'd get clapped right back.
Hmm.
That is too funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Never mind. I can't say that. I'm on YouTube. But yeah. There's different forms of clapping, man. But you know,
Yes, there are.
Uh, I'm a slapper, but I'm not a face slapper. But he might get clapped. Oh,
Oh man.
yeah,
I
classic
always
rock, Don. I agree. Classic rock helps me too. The frequency of classic rock is something that helps me, but also like my Nordic chanting music and even Native American chanting music helps out a lot. In fact, a lot of times when I write, I've got Nordic chanting music or Native American chanting music playing because it calms my brain and helps me to get words out.
hey, whatever helps. That's good.
I'm getting a kick out of these comments here.
High
Uh,
five to the face.
but yeah, it's actually funny because I wrote something very similar to that in my Western book that I'm working on right now. That's why I'm laughing because I literally just wrote a line. It's not clapping, but the man's face forcefully forced itself upon Cody's fist. Basically, is what it is. I'm
It was
laughing
the guy's. It was the face
about
fault.
this. Yeah, so that's why I'm laughing about this stuff because I literally just wrote something very similar to that in that book. but but yeah, so uh, I was trying to think. I had another question, and I got sidetracked here with this, with all these comments. Oh, hey, Amy, good to see you. Oh, wait, never mind. That thing shot around on me. Sorry, my deal shot around on me. So now I gotta get back. Okay, that's where we left off. Yeah. Sometimes my chat will shoot up, and it takes me way, way up there, and I gotta come back down. So, yeah, he face planted a fist. Yeah, that's actually I just wrote about that. Yeah, I did not know that they invented firecrackers to dispel spirits. I That's interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, so and it's all tied in there. So like there's a lot of times I talk about you need to recenter your soul, right? Find a peaceful, calming place to recenter your soul. And in essence, that's you're redirecting your energy to center itself, so it's not sporadic. And so Native Americans would talk about that stuff all the time, but so do Buddhists, so do all these other types of cultures too. They talk about centering yourself, centering your energy, centering your soul, and uh, that's what they're doing is they're causing the energy within their body to flow properly, so that way you're centered and you're flowing the way you're supposed to flow. And a lot of times you'll notice a big difference when you feel very chaotic versus when you get yourself centered, and you can feel the calminess happen when you do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good to have all your chakras aligned and to feel centered and just to balance your energy out. It is so important that we all strive to do that and to feel balanced and healed
Mhm.
energetically. It does a body good.
Yeah, I know. That's a fun little toy there, so I'll give you that. It annihilates a lot of different insects, just flies. Don't ask me how I know. I may or may not have partaked in some funnage using that thing. uh, like so, on one asset, earlier when I was talking about tapping into somebody's aura to see if they're lying. The energy. I can't remember what camera it is. There's a type of camera. If you get it up, um, in fact, I think Jason Hawes did it on Ghost Hunters one time, if memory serves me correctly. But you can actually record energies merging together, and it's an energy field that's around you, and you can actually capture that happening. And I've seen using the same technique, you're watching energy project out towards a destination at a great distance as well. So this stuff everything we're talking about today, you can legitimately see it happen. I can't remember what camera it is, but you can get it.
Oh yeah, you can take pictures of your aura, and yeah, you can do aura pictures, and I mean, you can. I've seen videos of like dogs. Like just recently, I saw a video. I don't know, it was on social media, but there was somebody that had a video of a dog, and it walked up to its owner, I guess, and you could see the
Mhm.
energy field around the dog, and then the guy. Basically, there's an energy transfer. Okay, from like maybe the guy's energy was kind of low. The dog came up, and gave him unconditional love, and some of the energy,
Oh
the good
yeah.
energy transferred from the dog to the man, and his energy field strengthened because of the dog. Now they say that's actually good for dogs, and dogs are very good at giving you positive energy. First of all, because they have unconditional love for humans, but they can go back and recharge their batteries easily because they don't wear they don't wear shoes. Okay, and they where do they go every day? A couple times a day, several times a day. They go outside and they walk in the grass, and that
Hey,
recharges their energy field. And they go roll around in the grass, right? And they get those good positive ions, I guess. And I think it's positive. But they go out there and they recharge, and they re up their energy, and they're good energy filled, and they come back, and they're there. I'm not saying we should use our dogs for energy vampirism. Okay, it's not that. But it's just you could clearly see that is it's an energy transfer, positive one for humans,
mhm.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, think about it, Sam, and I can attest to this. I could be so miserable because I'm wore out from working. Because I work a regular job, and I get home, I'm tired, I'm wore out. I'm not in the greatest of moods, and it changes instantly when my dogs come out to greet me, and they're jumping on me, and they're so excited. They're just their tails are going 90 to nothing, and they're just dancing all over because I'm home. The energy they give off when that happens is like instantly, like snow. Snow knows when I'm not, in the best of moods, and he's right there. He's comforting me. He's always around me. War's always around me. The cats are always around me. That stuff is legitimate. It works.
Oh yeah,
Take it easy, Ricky.
your pets love you. Your pets love you.
Mm, yeah. Oh no, yeah. Uh, but Jenny. Yeah, but so I mean, you're absolutely correct on that when it comes to energy with pets. I mean, there's nothing that's going to greet you more positively than a pet. A pet greets you probably the most positive way possible.
Oh yeah, especially dogs. Cats, I don't know. My cat, there are times where I felt like he was trying to take over my entire life. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. There are times where I thought he was plotting on me. Okay, but my dog is unconditional love. Okay, unconditional, and
Oh,
and she's they're good for the love, for sure, and the energy transfer. I give her my good energy
uh,
too, by the way. Okay, we can give our pets the good energy too.
oh yeah.
And Eric, what
They
about
they can sense
trees?
when you're upset.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
trees,
I was going to
plants,
talk about
rocks. Yeah.
trees. Yeah, that you can do energy
Hmm.
transfers with trees too. Like there's something to hugging a tree, and that's a real energy exchange right there. Where you can go if you're having a bad day, if you're in a sad mood, you don't feel good, go literally go hug a tree, and that tree will gladly take that energy away from you and give you back good energy.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing.
Hey Daryl. Uh, oh man, one of my favorite things to do when I'm out in my woods, like if I'm stopping to take a break, is I love to sit on the ground and lean against a tree. Till the ants get to crawling on me, but yeah, 51, 50 the other. Yeah. Uh, but I love it. I love laying against a tree, sitting on the ground, laying against a tree.
Oh yeah,
You feel it.
I have definitely hugged a tree or two in the past couple of years, for sure.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I ain't afraid. I mean, I'm surrounded by trees. Literally, I got 40 acres, and all but 2, 3 acres of it is trees, thick trees. I'm surrounded by it. I've got a jungle out there, but I finally got my mower part in today and ended up in the wrong damn part. So I still got a jungle for a lawn. I got that too. You can, yeah. Rocks are conductors. Yep. You slap trees. I wouldn't do that because you could piss off the pay, and
Don't
that pay
clap
will
the
wreak
tree.
havoc on
Yeah, clapping
you.
in the trees.
Yep. Uh, let's see here. A tree can be in a forest is a shield from many frequencies that are being transmitted. Yeah. Trees are, I mean, plants, period. But yeah, trees are definitely great for a lot of things. And they, if you know, Native Americans talk about this all the time. You know, the plants and the animals, they could all, and the rocks and everything can talk to you. And that's exactly what you're doing. You can push if you can learn how to tune it right. You can place a hand on a tree and literally hear it. I mean, they do talk. The wind talks. It all talks. You know, it's transferring your energy to it, and it's transferring its energy into you, and you can literally communicate with these things.
That's right. I've heard where people have like hooked up some kind of audio device to like mushrooms, and you could hear the mushrooms
Hmm.
communicating.
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know. I saw a video of some
Absolutely.
guy that had hooked up a device to like a tree, and he was claiming that the tree was having a conversation with him. And it was a little weird. It was a little weird. I don't know. Maybe it was. Or maybe I just am not. I'm just not there yet. Okay, to like be like, okay, well, that was an actual conversation there. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
I
the
mean,
videos of the trees that actually touch people? Like if you stand in front of a tree and you're like, hey tree, please touch me or whatever, like touch me with your limb, and like the tree will start moving until it touches you.
no, I
That's
didn't know that part. Yeah.
I I don't know. I haven't tried it myself, but it's worth trying. Maybe I should go try that tonight.
Yeah. Go out there and hug your tree and say, uh, you know, hug me back, tree. See if it does it.
Yeah, no, right?
Uh, it does, Don. It absolutely does, bud. Yeah. And, I mean, that's something that we. Sorry, man. I got these allergies are whooping my butt. uh, that's something that's one a reason why I want to do this show today is because we have gotten away from our old beliefs, our old way of doing things, and this is it. I mean, their energy, talking with things, getting reconnected. You you'll be amazed on how much better your life is when you connect back to the old ways, the old practices. Some of this modern stuff is it nice? Is it convenient? Yeah, get to spread the word to a great more people on this little talkie thingy here, these computer, than I could have, by word of mouth. I mean, there's advantages to some technologies, absolutely, but you should always reground yourself with Mother Earth, and we come from Mother Earth, and her frequency, her energy is what we need, and when you don't reconnect with her, you lose so many benefits, and that's why it's very important, not just for research, or investigative purposes, but for your health, your mental and physical health. Reconnect with Mother Earth.
That's pretty good advice. That's very good. Yeah, we're still human out here. So we gotta do what the ancients did, get grounded and tune into nature and tune into your energy and notice the energy of people around you and the energy when you walk into a room. Notice those energy shifts,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
it will help you in the long run, especially for like situational awareness. We're living in wild times right now, and you need to know when there's a danger or a threat around you, and
Yeah.
your gut is gonna tell you when something's wrong and something's off. That energy is going to you need to be able to pick up on that energy. And if you
And
can't,
that's
I mean,
that's
that's
also
zero survival skills right there if you don't.
it's also important. Hey, goat mama. Uh, I talk to everything. Heck yeah, man. It's also important in relationships, and I've made this mistake myself. If somebody is real negative and you're in a relationship with them, they're going to bring you down all the time. It's like you was talking about earlier, Jessica. People siphon that energy from you, and that's what happens. And I've been in more than I want to admit on relationships that way. Is they were an energy vampire, zapping that energy from you. So it's important when you find that special someone to spend your life with that your frequencies and your energies coexist together to create peace and harmony. It's a relationship is not two people. The relationship is two people coming together as a one, as a whole. And if your energies are not aligned correctly, you'll never be a one. You'll never be whole. You'll always be two people.
Yeah, you don't want to be like oil and water. Okay.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately we need to be around people who calm our nervous system. Okay. That's so important. If somebody gives you anxiety, you probably shouldn't be around that person. And I don't care who it is. We're talking about family, spouse, whatever. I don't know. People, even people at work. Do your best to protect yourself from that.
Yeah. That's why I like my job. I'm by myself most of the time. So
Oh man. Yeah, me too.
like
I'm over here by myself. Well, I got a dog and a kid that are always with me, seems like. But
yeah.
other than that, I'm pretty sheltered over here.
This time of year, man, I'm in the truck by myself most of the time for 10 hours a day. It's kind of nice. I get to do my own thing and listen to whatever I want to listen to. Do what It's I'm in my own little universe out there. Of course, I mean I've called you when I've been on the job before. It's like, man, I just had something weird pop in my head and I got to run it by you. What do you think on that?
You did. That's funny.
Yeah, that's usually what I'm. Yeah. So, lion tamer. Yeah. And it that's what I love about being by myself because my brain works very well. I have such a, and I'll be driving down the road and all of a sudden, bing, hey, did you think about this? I'm like, what? Yeah, I need to look into this.
Oh man. Look, I'm with Don on that comment. He said, problem is everyone gets on my nerves. Yeah. I know. I feel you, bud. I feel you.
Yeah,
Everybody,
my job
everybody
is
gets on my
definitely
nerves.
that way.
Man, I
Yeah.
feel you.
Um,
That was too
so
funny.
we're hitting. We got getting close to that 2 hour mark. You got any last minute thoughts to share with everybody on this energy on whatever aspect it is?
Yeah. Well, first of all, everybody, I know some people are just tuning in. I am not I'm frozen on the screen, but not in real life, y'all. Okay. So that's just, I'm glad I'm actually looking at the feed and I'm glad that it's not like a horrible picture of me being frozen this entire show. That is so funny, y'all. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with the internet today or the computer. I don't know what that is. But anyways, hey, at least we're here. The audio's good. And yeah, everybody please protect your energy. Our energy is our most valuable asset. It really is. And it's our, it's our most important type of currency, basically. And so value yourself and value your time and make sure the people around you value your time and stuff. And don't disrespect it because you are very important. Your energy is very important. We all need to strive to be like as high a vibe of an energy as we can be so that we can start attracting the life that we want, the people that we want, and just the environment that we want to be in. And we all deserve to be in. And so, yeah. Oh my gosh. Actually, on my end through the program we're using, my eyes are closed. It's frozen on there with my eyes closed. So I was worried I was going to have my eyes closed this whole show. But then I had to look down on YouTube and it's okay. My eyes are open, thank God. But anyways, yeah, I thank you for having me today. This has been a really informative and cool show today, and I appreciate it. Everything is energy and frequency and vibration. And I think that's I mentioned in the beginning that like I go by energy now. Like my whole life revolves around how I feel about stuff now, and it's not about what I'm shown. It's like how I feel about things. And by that, I mean, like, just like even with people, people, it can have the best intentions for you. But if I'm picking up on something that goes against what these people are showing me, I go with my gut. I don't go at face value with anything anymore. And I think that's something cool. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are like that, but yeah, just pay attention to the energy around you. Pay attention, and it'll get you far.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm always have a great time when I'm on with you. I mean, we've almost pulled a 3 hour show talking before.
Yeah, we have.
It's
Oh, we
not
can talk
uncommon.
forever, man.
Oh man, yeah, I got to be up at 0500 to go to work, so that's why I'm kind of on Sundays. I'm pretty watchful of my time. But
Oh yeah.
uh, so it's funny, and I was just sitting here laughing about it because it's like you got your show called The Glitch in the Matrix, and I'm like,
I'm
Jessica's
glitched
literally
out.
the glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm definitely glitchy. That's for sure. I glitch out occasionally. At least today I froze. It was just frozone.
Yeah. So with that
Freeze.
being said, you know, it's important to pay attention to your surroundings. It's important to pay attention to the energy around everything that's going on. Go with your guts, 4 words to live by. Heck yeah, Robin. um, so and that's dealing with everyday life, not just paranormal, not just cryptid, not just supernatural, but everyday life. So I mean, it's something to keep in mind. So you know, learn how to control it to not only better your life, but to possibly better somebody else's life as well. Because you can. I've literally have brought people back from like a very negative and low spot in their life, just simply having a positive energy. So just like a negative energy can cipher from you, you can take somebody's negative energy and turn it into a positive. So, and that's one thing I want to see people do. We're humans. We make mistakes. All of us end up getting negative at one point in time in our life and still do from time to time. It happens. And that's something that I've worked on, and I'll catch myself sometimes. That's why I got to walk away, or I got to do something to distract me because I got to recenter myself to be more positive. And it's just something we all need to do. Um, at the end of the Before I get to the poem part two, all my new subscribers, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. So from my new subscribers to my OG, you guys are awesome. Roxanne, thank you so much for helping me tonight. You've been awesome as usual. We didn't get a top of the hour in today, but that's okay. It's not like we do it every show, so no worries on that. I'll just put it out there real quick. If you're looking for the best trauma kits or first aid kit on the market, look no further than Dark Angel Medical. And you can watch a lot of my shows, and I usually Sunday shows is usually my Dark Angel Medical one. Go over there, look up Carrie Pocket Doc Davis, um, and you know look at his kits. You won't regret it. So this is a poem to everybody who done a super sticker today. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very thankful and humbled and grateful that you guys did that. I appreciate you. So this poem that I wrote goes like this. There comes a time when a warrior falls. They leave this realm and be missed by all. Raise a glass and keep them in your heart. They have kept this realm safe and performed a part. Look to your veterans, your active duty, your MTs, and the blue line. What they do or have done was walk that fine line. When the demon comes calling on your soul, they will be there to save us all. Hold them in your prayers, for they are deserving. They all have served or are serving. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much. If you know anybody who's struggling right now, keep them in your prayers. And until next time, you know, peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
Bye, y'all.